Yeah, is it visible now? Is the screen visible? Okay, okay, good. So today we are coming to the last part of testing, commissioning of switchgear and protective devices, in which we are trying to look at possible troubles, causes. Possible troubles means what kind of troubles we may come across, and what are the possible causes, what makes, because of which this trouble is we are able to see, then what corrective actions we need to take. Suppose in our house, if the bulb is not glowing, if the bulb is not glowing after the switch is made on, okay, so what is the trouble is bulb is not glowing. Now let us look at what are the causes, possible causes. Maybe there is no power, electricity is off, first cause. Second cause, maybe the bulb is fused, bulb is fused. Third cause, maybe there is a disconnection in the wire. Fourth cause, maybe the switch is faulty, maybe the switch is faulty. Fifth cause, maybe the switch is not properly put on, it is in the middle position, neither off nor on. Is it not? These are all the possible causes. These are all the possible causes, depending upon which we need to take actions. We have to check all these things and make corrective actions. In a similar way, for circuit breakers, we see the following troubles, possible causes, and corrective actions. Trouble is a low insulation resistance. Yes, we know that insulation resistance should be as high as possible. Phase terminal and earthed frame with breaker closed. Phase terminal of a pole between two phases or between the pole of one terminal and the earth, we are observing very low insulation resistance. That is a trouble. Possible cause may be moisture, dirt, poor oil. Poor oil means insulation oil. Carbon or paper particles sticking to internal surface. These are the possible causes. And corrective actions, we need to do these things, so that the first reason is trouble is removed. What we need to do is circulate the hot air so that this moisture can be removed through the breaker for 4 to 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, so that this complete moisture, dirt, and any particles sticking to the internal surface, they are all washed away, cleaned away. Dismantle, if this doesn't work, dismantle, clean, and reassemble, so that insulation resistance should be more than 2000 mega ohms. This is how we look at the problem, we guess the possible causes. It's not guessing, it's the tested methodology. Only because of these reasons this trouble will appear, and these are the corrective actions we need to take. Similar way, resistance across terminals is too high. Resistance across terminals is too high. Actually, what is expected is resistance across terminals should be 0 because it is a conductive path. Reasons: reduced contact pressure means they are unable to meet each other with a proper pressure. Low screws, loose screws and bolts, contact surface damage due to repeated operations, insufficient contact wipe, and oxidation layer on the terminals. Yes, this oxidation layer also makes resistance between the poles as too high. What we need to do? Dismantle, repair, and assemble again. If necessary, replace the contacts. Unequal contact wipes and travels in three poles. Unequal contact wipes. See, all the three contacts of three phases are not moving simultaneously. This is the reason. It is because of contact erosion due to repeated load operations on short circuit operations. It's a mechanical cause. Unequal length due to wrong adjustment during the maintenance. Length of the arms contacting pole are not properly adjusted while maintenance is done. Maybe because of this, all the three poles are unable to meet at a simultaneously. Inspect contact surfaces, replace if it is badly eroded, adjust contact if lengths are unequal. See, sometimes just by adjusting, it will function properly. If even after adjustment it is not working properly, then inspect contact surfaces, then replace if required. One of the poles doesn't close. Same reason, pull rod for contact damage, dismantle and repair it. Breaker operation is slow during opening. Yes, very important. It has to make a decision within what fraction of a time, fraction of a second, it needs to open. If it is not opening very fast, then we see a spark between two poles, and that's very dangerous. Sustenance of spark is very dangerous for the poles. Poles may get burnt, and subsequent effect also are damaging. So for this, possible reasons may be excessive friction in the pole unit, therefore it is unable to open. Contact grip too high. Sluggish trip coil operation. Yes, trip coil operation is sluggish, or it has become old, needs to be replaced. Low battery voltage. Yes, it needs to have a proper voltage so that trip coil operates at a proper time, pickup time. So identify the cause, take remedial action. Breaker does not operate on electrical command. Breaker does not operate on electrical command. Manually you are able to do it, but on electrical command, it is not operating. Maybe spring is defective, trip circuit is open, trip latch lock, trip lock or coil is defective, spring not charged. Spring not charged means it has lost its elasticity. If breaker operates with manual operation of trip release, the mechanism is okay. For this reason, check the closing spring visually. It means if it is faulty, change it. Visual inspection. Identify the cause, take the remedial action. Check supply to spring changing motor. Spring changing motor. Spring charging motor actually. It's not changing, it's charging motor. The motor which is operating the spring to uh, give the energy, that needs to be changed. Proper supply. Proper supply means proper voltage. Proper voltage and proper current are being fed to the mechanism. We know that the circuit breakers are intended for repeated operations as occurrence of the fault, or maybe it is a fault, or maybe it is a short circuit. It needs to identify the short circuit and the fault distinctively and operate only during the fault. And faults are unpredictable in the circuits. Anytime the fault might occur. Hence, to ensure the protection of the system components, more emphasis is generally given on the maintenance of circuit breaker. If a circuit breaker is not operating, then a loss is big. Loss is very big. We don't know where the damage is going to happen because of the high currents flowing in the circuits. The maintenance procedure differs from breaker to breaker based upon the quenching media used. What is quenching media? Arc quenching media. Why there is arc? When you are opening the live conductor means the current is flowing in the conductor. When you are trying to cut or open the current, cut the current, break the current. When you are trying to break the current, there is a quench, there is a spark, there is an arc, and we require some media to quench the arc. The maintenance includes the following: period of maintenance under normal condition on clearing faults. So immediately on clearing faults, we need to again check the circuit breakers for their okayness conditions. Under normal conditions means routine maintenance, maybe once in a week, once in a month, as per the importance of the circuit breaker where it is placed. Checking of the contacts. This is very important. If there is any oxidation on the contacts, then we observe trouble. Checking of the arc control devices. Arc control devices means quenching media. Maybe it is gas, maybe it is a forced air, or maybe it is oil. Checking of the insulators, checking of the relays. All these things are done as per the maintenance schedule. Precautions to be taken during the maintenance. Everybody is not authorized to maintain the switch gears. So authentic permission has to be taken by the concerned authority before the maintenance work is carried out. Following steps are followed. The following steps are to be followed. Isolate the live part. Danger notice board should be displayed so that nobody enters that area. The neighboring switch should be locked to avoid accidental switching. Neighboring switch, you are operating on the circuit breaker, and if some operator makes the switch, closes the switch, then current starts flowing. Therefore, it must be locked so that nobody can make it on. The equipment and conductor should be earthed. Power tools and safety devices are to be provided to the electricians. Power tools and safety devices. Safety devices, very important. Well-trained people only must be allowed to work. First aid should be available in case of emergency. There should not be any chance of negligence. There should not be any chance of negligence. That means this work has to be done with utmost care to avoid accidents, electrical accidents. Post-fault maintenance of circuit breaker. Yes, the fault has occurred and the circuit breaker has operated and the fault is removed. Now the circuit breaker has to be put again in the on conditions. So during which on every fault, after every fault, that is called post fault, what kind of activities are done on the circuit breaker maintenance? Let us see: cleaning, checking contacts, checking the operating mechanism, checking insulation resistance once again. Why we are doing all these things? Because if it is in good condition, it can handle the further fault effectively. Further fault effectively. Checking the insulation oil, checking the joints, seals, and general mechanical inspection. So all these things are done once the fault is cleared. So this is done on every fault clearance, every fault clearance, so that the circuit breaker is ready to take the further fault. This table shows the maintenance of SF6 circuit breaker. This is also called gas circuit breaker. Gas circuit breaker. In the circuit breaker, we have SF6 gas, which acts as a quenching media, arc quenching media, arc quenching media. Here we can see there are routine maintenances and post-fault maintenances. Routine maintenance, routine maintenance, and post-fault. After every fault, this must be done. What is that? If you look at the operations, different operations during routine, operational checks, general inspection, cleaning. It's by visual inspection. By visual inspection. All these are visual inspections. Circuit breaker enclosures, gas system, sulfur hexafluoride gas means the amount and the quality of it, then the insulation. These are done through inspection. Also, we'll see SF6 gas heaters, not with respect to Indian conditions, but in cold countries, this is also required because of the weather. Then local air receivers and pressure relays, overload devices and protective relays, overload devices and protective relays, instrument and protective transformers, final verification. So these are the routine maintenance by inspection. And there are other things which are carried out, examining and overhaul. During overhaul, we need to do all these things. Overhauling. Overhauling means complete disassembling, and making it reassembled. That is called overhaul. And while doing it, we replace the faulty parts so that the protective equipment becomes a new one. See, during overall examination, we see all these things: operational checks, general inspection, cleaning, trip opening, trip operations, circuit breaker enclosures, gas system, sulfur hexafluoride, insulation, pressure gauges, whether they are properly working, pressure switches, main connections, secondary wiring and fuses, earth connections, interpole linkages, main mechanism, auxiliary switches indicating devices and interlocks, interrupter, filters, instrument and protective transformers, control relay and contactors, bus bar, chambers, final verifications. Then this is important, what we were discussing. After every fault, the post-fault maintenance is cleaning, number one. Next we have gas inspection, quality and quantity of the gas. This is after every fault, interrupter operations, then final verification. So after every fault, we observe all these things and we ensure that this circuit breaker is ready for taking the next fault whenever it happens. Just now we saw SF6 circuit breaker maintenance. Now let us see the vacuum circuit breaker. Vacuum means there is nothing in the circuit breaker. Vacuum is the arc quenching media, no air. The operations are same. Can you see all these operations? Operations are same. Maintenance operations are same. Only there are minor changes on post-fault maintenance. First one is cleaning. Second one is switchgear operations, isolating contacts, vacuum interrupter, operations. Then we go for final verification. This is for vacuum circuit breaker maintenance. Then coming to air blast circuit breaker. Air blast circuit breaker. Again, we can see similarity. You can make a complete table. I think it's better to do make a complete table having serial number, maintenance operations. Yes. Yes. There are three types of circuit breakers. One is the SF6, vacuum, and air blast. What you can do is, if this is tick marked here, you can write, if it is tick marked for SF6, comma, vacuum V, comma, air blast, AB. Then you will have a consolidated table and you will be able to answer any question. If it is asked for air circuit breaker, just see wherever air circuit breaker is there, just make it. So likewise, we can have a consolidated maintenance list for three kinds of circuit breaker in one table. That is the best idea. Then coming to HVDC circuit breakers. High voltage DC. High voltage DC. Most of the time we are working with AC circuit breakers, but where this high voltage circuit is there, then we need to for breaking the HV circuit, we need to have a circuit breaker. We need to have HVDC circuit breaker also, and the operation is very simple. Here also, the main objective is the arc quenching, arc extinction, arc extinction. Here you can look at The arc extinction in AC circuit breaker takes place at natural current 0. When the current wave is passing 0, the arc extinction is made, so that we observe very less, theoretically 0 arc, but practically we observe very small arc, very less intensity arc. By operating the circuit breakers at natural current passing through 0. So here, so this is the principle of operation of DC circuit breaking. The circuit breaker uses one of the current zeros so as to extinguish the arc. Such breakers are used for transferring current from earth return path to metallic return. So they have given a very simplest way of operation of DC circuit breaking here. But our objective is not understanding the principle of circuit breaker operation. Our objective in this particular subject is how we can maintain them, how we can commission them. That is our main objective. Testing and maintenance is the objective. Yeah, these are some of the fuse and metal clad switchgear. These two are very commonly seen protective devices. Let us see one by one. Fuse, I think, even in a low circuit, low voltage circuit, LV circuit, we observe the fuse. Every house is having a fuse along with their energy meter. Fuse is the weakest link in electrical circuit. Fuse is the weakest link in electrical circuit. But unfortunately, in India, what we practice is we put a very heavy wire in the fuse so that fuse doesn't fuse again and again. That is the irony of working with electrical circuits. So that is a practice in India. Fuse is fuse fuse used to be used to melt. Fuse wire has to be melted when there is a overload in the circuit. But unfortunately, fuses in the houses never melt, something else melts. That is because we use fuse as the strongest link instead of using it a weakest link. Anyway, that is out of the scope of our discussion. Ideally, the fuse should be the weakest link in the electrical circuit. It should have a very low means melting point. If there is an overload, if you are permitted to use 1 kilowatt and if you are consuming 1.1 kilowatt or 1.2 kilowatt, more current starts flowing through the circuit. So at that time, the fuse should blow. Fuse should blow. That is the objective of the fuse. In the similar way, in circuit breakers where it is handling very high value of currents, can you see this? Up to 80,000 amperes. Nowadays, there are HRC fuses which are called high rupturing capacity cartridge fuses. High rupturing capacity cartridge fuses. They can handle they can handle 80,000 amperes of current. 80,000 amperes of current, which means the specification of the circuit breaker or the equipment will be around 57.5 MVA at 415 volts. So and these HRC fuses are very costly, but compared to other devices, fuses are economical. In that way, we can uh, comment. Maximum rating of available fuses are 350 amps at 3.3 kV and 100 amps at 11 kV. And this is at 415 volts. If you are increasing this volts, the current rating will reduce. While using HRC fuses, three main requirements are to be studied. If we are planning to put HRC fuses as a protective devices, we will have to see these things. Protection for apparatus and conductors against the possible damage. What kind of damages you are expecting in this circuit? Whether this HRC fuse is suitable for that, or you need to go for higher version of protection. Second one is coordination between the fuses and other interrupting devices. What do you mean by coordination? Coordination means there must be, if it is a series circuit, generally there will be series and parallel circuits. If the fuses are in series, what fuse has to operate first? Operate means which fuse has to melt first so that it protects the next circuit. That is called coordination between the fuses and interrupting devices. Discrimination, coordination between the fuses and interrupting devices means whether the fuse has to blow first or the circuit breaker has to operate first. That needs to be devised because the operation of a circuit breaker is a costly affair, whereas blowing of fuse is a economical affair. So that needs to be done depending upon the importance of the particular circuit. Discrimination between fuses in series. Discrimination between the fuses in series. Because when you are putting the fuses in series, same amount of current is flowing in all the fuses. And which fuse should blow or melt first so that further part can be protected. This coordination has to be made. So these are the three requirements. After studying this, we recommend a proper HRC fuse. General specification of the fuses: voltage rating, frequency, current rating. These are the voltage rating, frequency, current rating. These are the standard things for any electrical equipment. Maximum fusing current. Maximum fusing current. Maximum fusing current means that current it can safely flow, beyond which it melts. Fusing factor. Fusing factor. So fusing current is 1 amperes. Fusing factor may be 1.1. So whether you would like to keep fusing factor more or how much, that needs to be decided. Prospective current of the circuit. So if that particular circuit is taking generally 20% overload many a times, then we can keep the fusing factor as 1.2, so that for a short time, for a short duration, it can understand it's a overload. It's not a short circuit. Breaking capacity, operation of fuse link, cutoff current, arcing time, total operation time. So within what milliseconds the fuse wire is going to be melted. It's not only melting, it has to melt and create a distance between two ends of the fuse wire. If the distance is too short, if it melts only for a millimeter, then again we observe arcs, arcs between the terminals of the fuse. Therefore, that arcing time, how much time it should arc so that a maximum length is fused out, melted out. While selecting the fuse, the following points are to be considered. It is a standard electrical rule: normal current, and starting current. Generally, the starting current is slightly higher, maybe 150% than the normal current. Then permissible overloads, maybe 20%. 20% is a normal overload considered as a thumb rule. Whether steady or fluctuating load, yes, the load is fluctuating or steady load, that needs to be seen. If you are putting in the evening, if you are putting all the tubes and fans, that can be called as a steady load. And fluctuating load will come when you are using your mixer, when you are using your grinder, when you are using your washing machines, because suddenly it tries to pull the additional current. So all these things a fuse has to understand and withstand. It should not blow off. Nature of protection required: is it for overload or is it for short circuit protection? Time of operation, is within how many milliseconds, microseconds it has to operate. Peak prospective current, desired cutoff value, fault currents, prospective value, fusing factor, rupturing capacity. These are the things we consider while choosing a proper fuse. It is an observation, or it is a observation that HRC fuses are sometimes they are superior to circuit breakers. HRC fuses are sometimes found superior to circuit breakers. And as it is, we know that circuit breakers are more costlier than HRC fuses. The main difference between these two is that fuse can break the circuit under abnormal conditions but cannot make the circuit. Yeah, try to understand the difference between these two. This also breaks the circuit, this also breaks the circuit, but fuse only breaks the circuit under abnormal conditions and it cannot remake it. There is a person required to replace the fuse wire and make the circuit when the system resumes the normal condition after the fault is removed. Whereas in case of circuit breakers, what happens? It breaks the circuit under abnormal conditions, and after the abnormality is removed, it makes the circuit, or it remakes the circuit automatically. So this is the difference. After the system returns to normal conditions, a circuit breaker can make or break the circuit under normal and abnormal conditions respectively. These are the difference between HRC fuse and circuit breaker. Different types of fuses. Semi-enclosed or rewirable fuses. Rewirable. Rewirable is a type of fuse you see in every house. Totally enclosed or cartridge type. These are the box type. You see most of them in the industry. There is a box actually. Within the box, there will be fuses. D type and bolted type. Expulsion fuse and high rupturing capacity fuse. So in our next class, I will try to show you the different types of fuses, how they look like. Metal clad switchgear. This also I will try to show you. This is there is an arm which after making it down or making it up, we can put the fuses in operation or we can put them into out of operations. That's called metal clad switchgear. Generally for low voltage it is used. Low with respect to our electricity is up to 11 kV or so. And this metal clad are generally used for indoor switchgears. Rated voltage, metal clad switchgears, low, medium and high. Generally when it is high voltage, all operation is done through relays. Person generally do not enter into such high voltage area. Metal enclosed, compartmental and metal clad. These are the bus bar types. Okay, that's not it. This contactor part, let us see in our next class. Contactor, it's not contractor, it's a contactor. Contact, the person who makes contact is a contactor. Contactor is a mechanical switching device capable of making, carrying and breaking electrical current under normal conditions, including overloads. Contactors are usually for operation under normal conditions and overload conditions. Contactors are for normal and overload conditions. These contactors are required to operate more frequently. Many a times we need to, the best example for contactor is a switch in our house. So we operate it many a times. In a similar way, in the electrical system also, there are some operations where we need to make and break the circuit very often, more frequently. Such time these contactors are used. During the mechanical endurance tests are operated 10,000 times. This is the testing time of that. Verify the resistance of the mechanical wear. Contactors are designed according to the method of energizing control circuit via electromagnetic, pneumatic or electro-pneumatic. The rating of the contactors are as follows. Type of contactor, interrupting media, rated voltage, rated current, rated duty and services. Utilization categories of contactors. These are the different utilization categories of contactors where they are utilized. Non-inductive resistance furnaces, slip ring induction motors, starting and plugging. Why we are using these contactors here? Because we need to make and break many a times. Squirrel cage induction motors, starting and stopping. Squirrel cage induction motor, starting, plugging, and inching. Inductive loads, shunt motors, and series motors. Here again and again we need to make and break the particular circuit, therefore we use contactors. Yes, with this we are ending. Testing commissioning of circuit breakers. So today let us stop here, and further part let us continue in our next class.